Now, can anybody tell me how far back signs go regarding pubs? As the lady has said, that she's correctly identified the pub signs, or I should say tavern signs, because when the Romans came over, they brought with them taverna, a taverna, plural tavernae, I think it is in Latin, which is where wine was sold. And to indicate that wine was available, each person, tavern keeper, was required to hang or suspend a bush of evergreen or vine leaves, but they're not particularly common in this country, but evergreens outside to indicate that wine was available.
And so to Bewdley. I wasn't going to mention the ice, but because of events recently, I changed my mind. Here it is in 1890, and again in 1895. Look how smooth the ice appears to be. At least walking, I don't know if they're skating, but it does look smooth. It wasn't smooth in 1929, though. But what happened in the big freeze of 1947? There's no photograph of it in Ken Hobson's collection. But in 2010, surely a sight none of us here had ever seen before. And gosh, wasn't it cold?
It's called A Bon Mot on the London Riots. With a demonic esprit de corps and a dark joie de vivre, these rabid enfants terribles with pret-à-porter hoodies à la mode, en masse, en route from the social cul-de-sac, took carte blanche for a coup d'état with a cri de coeur and a coup de grâce of criminal force majeure, whilst the political crème de la crème en vacation with their fellow bon viveurs for a moment forgot their savoir-faire, dropped hors d'oeuvres at the sight of this unpalatable, swirling, social soup du jour, and the London chargé d'affaires called for laissez-faire in the hope that if applied to the avant-garde, it would stop the thing becoming de rigueur. Parliament was recalled too sweet, but au contraire, an inner city déjà vu flambé occurred. And from compact and bijou pied-à-terres, the terror-stricken nouveau riche and petit bourgeois cried sacre bleu and zut alors, and trompe l'oil and papier-mâché of society en passant was almost swept away, and lives were lost, and fires burnt, and those au fait blamed loss of urban raison d'etre, yet claimed that if this tête-à-tête was seen merely as an isolated, wicked Mardi Gras for the rampant enfants terribles and their coup d'etat, this could be merely an all too brief and sinister au revoir in an ongoing black and white British film noir. Thank you.
So because we've got such an array of wonderful, rare farm animals, and they're all handled, we quite often ask to use them for films and photo shoots. And recently, Jules Clothing, have you heard of Jules Clothing? Yeah. They asked me whether they could bring some children models onto the farm and have some of the animals and take some lovely photographs. And I told them that everything was handled and everything would be fine. They came around to my house, a little bit away from the farm park, and in one of the loose boxes, we had some of these Gloucester Old Spot piglets that we were fattening up. And the arts director leaned over the door and she says, "Oh, they're lovely. What I'd like to do is put a lead and a collar on these little piglets and let one of the little girls take it for a walk." And I thought, oh, no, what have I done? But I couldn't lose face, so I went in the loose box and I caught this pig and it was squealing a bit and put a collar on it, put the lead on it, and I thought, these little girls, they might get dragged through the stinging nettles. Anyway, I handed it to this little girl and it trotted off like we'd been training it for months. It was like Babe. Anyway, it walked around. You can see it's just rootling around in the grass, and they got some wonderful photographs. And then a few weeks later, they said, "It was so successful, Adam. What we'd like to do is bring back some female models, some adults, and you can get involved with a photo shoot. Would you like to do that?" I said, "Yes, please." Little did they tell me I'd have to dress as a vicar.
Right, cats. Now, about 15 or 20 years ago, I was, you're the cat sponsor, aren't you? This is all relevant. About 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I was asked to paint a little cat called Marmaduke. This is him. It was only a tiny little painting, and they used it on stationery and desk diaries and plates and all the rest of it. And I rather foolishly sold the copyright and the original. So my involvement in this money stopped at that point. And they went on. This became a sort of artist's version of a hit record. It was on everything. It was on postcards. It was on you name it. And it made everyone a fortune apart from me. So when I was inevitably asked to paint some more cats off the back of this one because it had done so well, I said yes, but I'll keep the copyright and the originals and you can license the images. So here's a few more cats I did. These were done for Royal Dalton or Spink or someone like that. And there were plates to start with. And the beauty of these pictures is that you can use them over and over again. You can use them on a jigsaw or a plate or whatever, and you get paid every time there's another usage for them.
It was the... See, they all have to teach sex now, about sex education, which I think is obviously is all right. But the Catholic schools have managed to wangle their way out of it. And I think this was a deal they did with Blair. I can't quite work it out. But I think that's what... So they do have to teach sex education, but they can teach whatever they like. That's the... I mean, Blair himself left being a Prime Minister, resigned, and then become a Catholic straight away, didn't he? Just got to pity the poor priest that has to take the confession. Oh, he's crying out loud. Been here 3 bloody days, he's not even got as far as Iraq.
You were never any good with money. You couldn't even hold a job. Not steady enough for the office. Not hard enough for the hod. You'd rather be riding your Norton than going fishing with your split cane rod. You were never any good with money. Couldn't even hold a job. When your grammar school days were over, it was 1917, and you did the right and proper thing. You were just 18. You were never mentioned in dispatches. You never mentioned what you did or saw. You were just another keen young man in the mud and stink of war. You were never any good with money. Couldn't even hold a job. Not steady enough for the office. Not hard enough for the hard. You'd rather be singing the Pirate King or fishing with your split cane rod. You were never any good with money. Couldn't even hold a job.
In terms of volunteers, the most important volunteer is Jenny. Someone to lead from the front and drive the festival forward and keep us all on our toes. So she's a very important part of the festival's success. So, Jenny, where are you? Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah. Can I give you these? If you could just put them down, Ben, Jen, because there's something else. Before I give you those, Jen, the festival is part of the BAFA organisation, the British Association of Arts Festivals, or Festival of the Arts. BAFA. And they've introduced a new award this year, and it's an award for exceptional service. And when we had the thing come through for nominations, it said, this is an award for a person who stands out for their exceptional dedication and unstinting effort in everything they do on behalf of the festival. So I thought, well, it's a no-brainer. I'll put in a nomination, which I did.
Yourself?
No, not for myself. I put in a nomination, and I had an email back to say that our nomination was successful. And even better than that, the people making or accepting the nomination were the board of BAFA. And on that board are the chief executives and chairmen of organisations like the Cheltenham Festival, Aldborough, Edinburgh Festival, the City of London Festival, Cambridge Festival, the great and the good. So Bewdley is well on the map in terms of BAFA. So we've been nominated, well, you've been nominated for that. And the announcement's going to be on the 3rd of November at their conference. But Jenny is away on holiday on the 3rd of November, so if we wanted to go, we couldn't go. So I've had special permission tonight to present the very first BAFA Award for Exceptional Service.
This is a complete surprise. I usually get quite emotional. Thank you. And do I get a cabbage now? Sorry. Obviously only half the audience laughed. The rest of you don't remember Cracker Jack. But, surprise, and thank you for my committee, because I always say, you know, whilst I'm the one that gets up here, please no recording. Please, you have to pay if you want to record. As I say, I'm the one that people see, and I'm the one running around, but I really am the tip of the iceberg, and all of the people here, you hear me say it, but there are no freeloaders at Bewdley Festival. Everybody who is sitting there, every seat that's taken, the person who comes in late doing front of house has bought a ticket, same as everyone else. And I would just like to reiterate what Roger said and ask you if you could put your hands together again for our sponsors and all the volunteers that make this week possible. Thank you.